Hello everyone and welcome to Impact. I'm Nick Barber, your host for the government segment. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we have two special guests with us today. Chief Michael Delarocco of the Schenectady Fire Department. How are you, Chief?
Hi,
Thanks
Nick.
for being here.
Nice to see you
and
again.
we have Amy Palatore, correct?
Yes, sir.
Also from the Schenectady Fire Department. You're a firefighter, Amy?
I am.
Great. Well, you're both dressed in pink, so this is awareness for something, and obviously it's breast cancer, but you're doing something special.
We are.
For the breast cancer awareness effort. And can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how we started? Maybe we can start with you, Amy.
Sure. Early last year, one of our deputy chiefs was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and shortly after that, another firefighter was diagnosed with leukemia. In an effort to raise funds, the firefighters band together. We did a really spectacular job, but what we realized very quickly was that this is something that's going to be facing us every year, every month, and worse. So we started a foundation. We partnered with a group out of, well, they're national, but we found them in Delaware, the woman named Cindy L., who mentored us to start a foundation right here in Schenectady for the firefighters. One of our first projects were these pink shirts. We're selling the pink shirts, and the firefighters will be wearing them for the whole month of October. All the money and the proceeds will go to benefit the Schenectady Firefighter Cancer Foundation.
But Chief, let me just ask you quickly, this wouldn't happen without your endorsement, so apparently you feel this is an important, worthwhile project.
Yes,
so you
I
gave
do.
it your stamp of approval and you're here today.
Yes.
So what do you have to say about this effort?
Well, this is a grassroots effort that was started by our firefighters. It really didn't start as anything official for the fire department. It was very good to see them get together, and they came to me and asked for permission to wear pink t-shirts for the month of October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I was aware that fire departments across the country were doing this, and did a little research, of course, first, but the International Association of Firefighters has partnered with the Susan B. Komen Foundation, and this is a national effort for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And Mayor McCarthy and the members of the council were very supportive, and we've received nothing but positive feedback from the public as well. It's just been positive all the way around. And the idea is to raise awareness and provide education for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but also, as far as the firefighters are concerned, to bring greater awareness to the problems of firefighter cancers, which many of our own people are not aware of.
Yes. Well, firefighters have unusual exposures beyond the average people. I mean, you have chemical exposures and smoke and other, contaminants. So, you think that's a possibility of a higher rate of incidents with firefighters? Either one of you.
Well, we know that firefighters have greater rates for certain cancers than members of the general public, and many of those things, as you suggest, are job related, and there are correlations between the types of materials that are burning today, combinations of materials that create chemicals that we don't even know what they are. So there's a great emphasis on the fire department side to have people wear their self-contained breathing apparatus, to keep their firefighting gear clean after a fire, and also we do monitoring every year. Everybody has to do a physical every single year, and really that's the key. With breast cancer, early detection is the key to beating the disease. And as far as our official policy, we do physicals every year, and that includes blood screening and pulmonary tests and so on. So we're trying to take steps in the right direction to protect our people.
Through this effort and this local effort and foundation, are there new procedures or anything coming out of this? Amy, could you tell us?
Sure. Some of the things that
weren't done before, more helpful things going on?
We're with our partnership with the Firefighter Cancer Foundation. One of the things we've signed up for is we're going to send a Schenectady firefighter to a conference that they do every year that's now going to be focusing on firefighter cancers. Like the chief said, we're finding a skyrocket in all cancers, but specifically blood cancers, which were the two cancers that our firefighters and deputy chief were diagnosed with.
Yeah.
So what we're hoping for, we're in the process of doing, is that we actually have available to us a cancer sniffing dog. They can actually test our equipment and see if there's carcinogens still on them. Yeah, that's something.
A good one.
Yeah, it's brand new. It's still it's only been around for about 5 years.
Yes.
We actually have one of those dogs readily available through this partnership we have. They're also looking into doing things like a cheek swab to be able to find out if you are more at risk for certain kinds of cancers. They're using firefighters to test this because the prevalence is just so much higher. So
Yes.
much like the chief said, the things that we're introduced to, they're not things that they would test when they bring these products into our homes. Things that burn, we don't test that.
Yeah.
And like the chief said, even in our protective gear, even with these SCBAs on, they're getting in, they're in our bloodstream, and there's little we can do without the research that we're hoping to build towards.
Well, the chief had mentioned early detection, which is true in all cancers.
Yes.
But the interesting thing about breast cancer is that males get it too, just like your brother firefighter, your deputy chief, was it?
He had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Lymphoma, okay.
Yeah.
But males get, in any case, males also get breast cancer.
Yes.
Now, as far as prevention, women get pap smears.
Yep.
Maybe it's a crazy question, but what type of preventative measures can men take to avoid breast cancer and get early detection?
Well, one of the things that they're saying is that the reason that men are being more at risk is from our gear. So, it's stressed to us to wash and keep our gear clean after every fire. Anytime it's introduced to any kind of smoke or any real foreign body,
Yes.
It should be cleaned. Because of how close and fit our gear is meant to be, those carcinogens rest right on our skin.
Wow.
I couldn't begin to guess the research and why it's trending towards breast cancer, not other skin cancers. But, I think the research is going to show that will become part of especially in our yearly physical, something that they'll test for the men.
That's
all
great.
kinds of blood cancer, anything that we're at risk for.
So there's all kinds of good preventative measures coming out of this effort that you started locally. Is this one of the few local efforts in the state or the region? Are you at the cutting edge? Are you one of the leaders?
We
of
are.
The Schenectady Fire Department?
We are. The Schenectady Fire Department is the first chapter of the Firefighter Cancer Foundation. We are currently the only New York chapter.
Great.
That's something we hope to see change. A lot of fire departments do, their own fundraisers and everything, just independently. But what we're finding is the expense of becoming a non-for-profit is tremendous. The legal, the accounting, things maybe never, we'd be able to accomplish. But, with this partnership, we've done that. And on top of it, the resources they offer are, their decade or so worth of building their own foundation.
Do you get help from other national organizations, other cancer or breast cancer support organizations? I mean, are you partnering with others yet?
Not yet.
Will that be
we hope
an appropriate step at a point in time?
Yes, we hope so. There really isn't one other group that sort of stepped up and said there's a need specifically for our our firefighters here or across the world, really. I think that you will start to see other foundations when the research does start to come out. Frankly, there's been no research up until, as far as I know, this year. There really has been no group that's dedicated any kind of effort into researching solely firefighters and the effect of our jobs, what they have on us. I mean, what we do is dangerous enough, so people inherently sort of just think we're maybe invincible.
Just goes with the territory.
Yeah, they don't, you don't realize that there's even more added danger to what we do.
Well, this is a great effort, not only for firefighters, which is the initial impetus of this, but for the community, for everyone. And Chief, I know from visiting with you and watching your work that you've always been open-minded. As you say, you research and you come up with endorsement to a lot of good programs here in Schenectady. I think we've had a lot of firsts, but this one's really important. October.
It's really proactive, and I think that's the key. As Amy said, we're learning more every day. There is some research, and even though we may not know exactly what happened, if you look at the names on our firefighters memorial outside of Fire Station 1, most of the names on there were from cardiac causes or cancers. So we know that that's what is killing firefighters. And there's been a great deal of effort in cardiac studies, and now it looks like there's an impetus to study cancers in firefighters. But it's a very positive thing all the way around. It started here in Schenectady with concerns for our own members, but the idea that breast cancer affects firefighters, both male and female, more than the general population, has led us to try to educate the general public about breast cancer awareness and the importance of early detection and treatment. And early detection means saving a life.
Yes.
So it's very important, and we thank you for letting us come on today to talk about this, because maybe somebody that sees the show will make a trip to the doctor or take this disease a little bit more seriously.
Absolutely. You know, it's a pleasure to have you both here. It's a very important issue. And I can see years down the road that this should take on a life. I hope it gets legs and it goes to other firefighter organizations throughout the state and throughout the country. I could see that happening, but I know there's financial hurdles. But hopefully you can address those and deal with it and keep getting the word out, because let's face it, firefighters are a large brotherhood, and if this message can be spread through other fire organizations, where it started right here in Schenectady with Amy and Chief Delarocco, it'd be a wonderful thing. So what you're doing is really a magnificent effort. It's a great thing and very appropriate for October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So if there's anything you'd like to say before we leave, a final message. We're going to put maybe some graphics
I don't
up.
want to steal any of Amy's thunder, but one of the things that she said when they were talking about this program is the foundation really doesn't ever want to have to spend any of the money that they've raised.
Of course.
And that's a good philosophy, I think, going forward, that we'll educate people, we'll work hard. If we have to use those funds, they'll be there, but we hope we never have to use it.
So Chief and Amy, if someone wants to get more information, do you have a website, or where can they go to find more information about breast cancer awareness?
We have a website at neverfightalone.org. Okay. On that website, we do have the ability for anybody who's interested to make a donation to our cause. There's also quite a bit of information about our resources, what we offer through our parent organization there. You can find probably about 20 different websites there for different cancer research organizations. You can also follow us on Facebook. Currently the name on Facebook is Kurt's Crusaders. Kurt was the name of the deputy chief who was diagnosed.
Is that with a K or a C?
It's with a K, both with a K, Kurt's Crusaders.
All right. Well, that's good.
So you can find out most of what we have going on right through there.
Okay, well, thank you. You know, we were talking about the grassroots efforts, the pink T-shirts and other efforts. But what other types of things are firefighters doing here locally in Schenectady?
Well,
and what are those effects?
One of our firefighters, we were sorry to lose him, but moved to a department in New Hampshire, and he contacted us with a story of a female firefighter in his department who had contracted breast cancer, and wondered if we would help support their efforts. And so he sent us some pink ribbons, and many of our members are still wearing the pink ribbons on their helmets. It's a very sad story, because unfortunately that woman did die of her disease, but our people are still wearing those pink ribbons, and we're still supporting them. And it's the kind of thing that, you know, she was our sister, and you know, we talk about the brotherhood. It's very, very strong, and those relationships exist over the miles and really across the country. Yes,
and that's why we hope that this will take off like wildfire, your efforts. We want to thank you, Chief Delarocco from the Schenectady Fire Department, Amy Politori, for starting this here in Schenectady, the Schenectady Firefighters Cancer Foundation, and for your efforts related to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I know this is going to take on a life and spread far beyond Schenectady because of what you've done here. So thanks for all your great work.
Thanks
for
very
being
much
here.
for letting us come on today.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Nick.
Great. This is Nick Barber. You've been watching Impact. We'll see you next week, and thanks for watching.
Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.